All right, family. Welcome to the family tree. Hope everybody's doing well. This is January the 27th. Wow.
Man, time is gone, brother.
You know,
You
this
know?
this year is moving already, with or
Yes,
without you, right?
that's right.
So I want to say, welcome through. We say the family tree is a place where we want to be able to share your information, but it's also a cultural resource for you and your family. So that
Yes,
means that
yes.
whatever you're doing, we try to do things more natural, holistic, organic. Talk about the conversations that don't go on regular mainstream media. We talk
Hmm.
about the things that you can do to feed the body, and the body corrects itself
There
11
you
times
go.
faster
There you go.
than you
That's
get
right.
sick. That's the shout for
There
somebody
you go. I
tonight.
know that's
And
right.
no matter what you're doing and what you're going through, you can start to feed the body and do natural things, and the body corrects itself. So tonight, we're just going to go in. Topic of conversations, things that you may be hearing. If you have any questions about some of the remedies and things that we talk about, we believe that it's a perfect system created by a genius. How about that?
Yes,
And that
sir.
whatever you do, if you start to correct this, feed the body, you're going to see some amazing changes happen in your life. How about that? Y'all ready for some changes in your life?
I know I am.
Yeah, yeah. Some of y'all going,
I know that's
yeah.
right. I know that's right.
All right, all right. So, Big
Dr.
B,
Paul, before we get going, let me remind everyone that if you're not speaking, kindly make sure that all of your mics are muted so that and when Dr. Paul speaks, everything comes through nice and clear so that when we do our recording, it comes back really, really good. Okay.
all
Appreciate
right.
that so much.
All right, and let's give a hands put together for Bill 1L Morgan, my co-host here and producer of the show. Yes, yes. Bill
Hey,
1L Morgan.
hey, I brought my own sound
He
effects
brought his
just in
own
case.
sound
What you
effects
talking
today.
about, boy?
All right, all right.
All
And
right.
Bill also is the editor for a lot of the shows. So after this show is completed, if you want to play this for someone who did not get a chance to hear or see what's going on, you can actually view this on Facebook. There is a Dr. Paul Holistic Health Network that's on Facebook, and you can join. Just send me an invitation, and I will send you a private invitation opening you up to the conversation where you can get all the shows. So it's not only just the family tree, but you can also get WURD when we do Saturday morning, which is the Dr. Paul Holistic Health Show, and also
Yes.
the Green Hour every Sunday. So we try to keep things in the loop. We try to keep the conversation on track for what you're experiencing every day. And especially with this coronavirus, keeping health and keeping your immune system is our key and our motto.
Indeed.
So, Big B in the house, I
Yes,
want you to
everybody.
give us a breakdown of what's going on in the coronavirus. You have our favorite website. Give
I
us
sure
those
do.
numbers right now.
Yeah, I do, guys. Of course, our numbers are coming from that's NCOVE. That's NCOV 2019.live. That's NCOVE 219.live. All right. That way you can make sure that each day, whenever you feel like checking, you can make sure that everything, all the news people are staying on track. All right. So as of 36 minutes ago, we are looking at a number right now. And I guess what it was just the other day, we were about 96,000. Guess what, guys? We're right now total confirmed cases of 101 million. Instead of 96 million, 101,366,921. That's worldwide. All right. Total critical, 110,130. Total deceased, 2,181,162. And here we go with our total active guys, 25,940,443. Total recovered. Total recovered. Here we go. 77,007,242.
Mm.
You know,
Wow, wow.
that's one we have to play and kind of applaud for because guess what? You know what? It's something that you just never know. We want to make sure that everything is working right. We want to make sure that the family stays in good shape and that we just make it work for us across the board. So there we are
Yes.
with the numbers. And by the way, Dr. Paul, remember on Sunday we when it recycled and it came back that there were no more vaccines in development. Well, that must have been a fluke because we're still back up at the 192 now for the total vaccines in development. So
Right.
I wanted
And
to correct that.
right. So at this moment, you have total recovered. What was that number
Yes.
again?
Total recovered 73,007,242.
Right. Y'all hear that, family? That's a lot going on. We should be talking about those numbers
Yes,
because
yes.
there are people still, fighting this thing off and they're winning. People are
Yes, they
coming
are.
up out of this thing. So we want to make sure that no matter what you're doing, they put out back in the Lancet magazine,
Mm-hmm.
which is a medical journal, that it's effective if you have COVID. It's less than 1% death rate, but that's
Yes.
always based on, if you're experiencing a chronic condition or if you have hypertension, diabetes, if you have something that you're taking as what we call immune suppressant, which is basically some medication.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are just taking care of yourself, your best odds are that you take care of yourself and just feed the body the proper things to build the immune system anyway, right? So that's where we have to look at some of the things that I'm getting back. And I talked to a lot of international folks during the week, and so far they're telling me that, you know what, there's a very interesting fact. Of all of the countries in the world, United States is the only one with four verifiable versions of COVID-19. Did y'all hear
Wow.
that?
Wow.
Four verifiable versions of different versions of COVID-19. They just found there's one in Minnesota that is the equivalent of the Brazilian that came from Brazil. They had this back in, believe it or not, y'all, they had this back in the summertime. And we're just finding out right now, Big B,
Wow.
that they
Wow.
had these things. And we're just finding out. They didn't want to I guess, alert the folks to what's really going on. But
Uh-huh.
yes, we
Uh-huh.
have a verifiable four different variations
Wow.
that are running strong. No other country has this. There's a South African version, there's a Brazilian version, there's a Europe version, and of course, America. So there's four variations. All of them are here in the United States. Also, we're running low on PPE. The PPE, the issues with PPE is going bad because of the fact they can't get enough masks, also gloves, and they're running out of needles. That's the other thing. They're running out of needles. So the needles is becoming, all these little things, Big B, are
Mm-hmm.
coming to a screeching halt. It's almost like if you said any any country that would be coming under judgment, it would be us. Looks like we're running the plagues of the Bible right now.
Yes, indeed.
So keep that in mind. You got to start to take care of yourself, family, and yet you still don't have anyone saying, what are you eating? What are you doing?" So the rules of the game tonight, family, I want you to raise your hand. And those that have questions, please put your name in the chat. Raise your hand so I can see you, and we'll just go directly in, okay? How does that sound? And
Perfect.
once you completed the question, just drop your hand, okay? I got Troy. First one, Troy. Troy, how you doing,
Yes, sir.
Troy? Where are you?
I'm right here.
Okay, Troy, how you doing there?
All right, I can't complain. I had a quick question about what do you suggest other than glucosamine to take for aging joints? Of course, as you get older, your joints start to hurt more. So I thought glucosamine was the best thing to take. Is there anything else better than that I can take?
Absolutely. We say not to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease. It's food for the soul, family. We got to say that, Big B.
Yes,
What
indeed.
I look for regenerating the connective tissue, you know, joints, ligaments, has to go back to the MSM. Okay, MSM, Mary Sam Mary. Okay,
Uh
MSM is the methyl sulfony methane. Okay, that's actually what's one of the best things to build the connective tissue, but also to release what's called cellular debris out of the cells.
Okay.
Okay, so that's one of the things that I would say. It is organic sulfur. So what you would do is make sure the version you get is what's called flakes. So it would be uh, methyl sulfony methane or MSM with flakes in the flakes variation version. Got it?
Okay. They have that on pen herbs, right?
Penn Herbs may have it. Also, Pollock Herbs on Broad Street or Wayne Avenue Health Food, which is in Germantown. Okay,
Okay.
they're at 50. Germantown's 5007 Wayne Avenue, And then also Polycurves is of course on Broad Street, 5925 Broad Street, around Broad and Champlos. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The
Thank you, sir.
flakes, the flakes would be better because the flakes actually help with the body's ability to deal with inflammation, and it's a cooling effect. See, in order to repair the joints and ligaments, it has to cool. Inflammation brings heat into those areas, so you have to bring something that cools, and that's what MSM does. Got it?
Yes.
I'm gonna give you one more. I'm gonna give you
All
one
right.
more. The other one would be coral calcium. Okay, coral calcium. Hold up, I may even have one. Yep. This is coral calcium. Can y'all see that? You see it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Keep fading in. Keep fading in and out. There it is. Coral calcium, if you want to screenshot it.
All right. Let me do that on card quick.
That's an excellent company, too. The company that we're looking at there is an excellent company. Okay.
Got it.
This is the powder, and the powder is a source from Okinawa. Okay. You always want to get it from a place like Okinawa, which is the lower peninsula where a lot of the coral reefs are with their protected barriers, but some of the best places where you can get coral calcium. It also is excellent for bone density issues. So, ladies, if you're having something with bone density issues, it's also good for hair, skin, and nails. Okay, regeneration. Matter of fact, makes your nails very strong. Okay, that's the coral calcium. Also, it's actually is very, very good adding to your green drink. So sometimes you can add a quarter teaspoon to your green drink. That's a little secret that I do. And it actually helps to intensify the energy in the gut. So it deals with gut issues. Okay. All right, Troy. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. We got Audrey. Audrey.
I'm here.
Okay,
Okay,
Audrey.
Audrey. I see you.
Doing. My
All
question
right.
is I have been suffering off and on with extremely dry lips, and I don't know why.
Mm.
Drink a lot of water, and out of nowhere, my lips get extremely dry to like burning almost.
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it could be the next day, they could be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And this comes and goes, and I have no idea why.
So they're burning? Are they okay? So they may be burning because if they get chapped, they're going to break, and then that's going to open. That could cause what the burning comes from.
Yeah,
But the
it gets,
chapping, yeah. And if you're doing something to keep them moist, one of the good ones is for derma would just be aloe vera gel right on the lips. Aloe vera gel.
okay.
Have you tried aloe vera gel at all?
I have the aloe vera gel. I take it for the acid reflux, but I didn't put it on my lips.
Mm-hmm. Very good for the lips because anything with derma deals with the lips. That's what it is. You know, people. You know, I had to have a conversation with some young folks one time, and you know, there's an old saying. You know, God, why did you make my lips so big? Y'all ever heard that one? Anybody ever heard that?
No.
Y'all,
Talk to me.
yeah, not this crowd. No, no. Okay.
I said, no.
Well, there's a saying that the child comes up and says, "God, why did you make my lips so big?" But people don't realize that you know there's a reason why your lips are big. Anybody have a clue why your lips are big? Why people of
Coochie.
color our lips are big? Anybody?
Because they're nice and kissable. Oops.
So we can cool
See,
soup.
somebody else wanted to say that, Dr. Paul. They just didn't want to own up to it. I
Yeah,
know
I
what's up.
knew this was going to go here. That's
Hey,
why I threw that out there. They're
Yeah, I
gonna
just trying
make
to put it out
something.
there, Flo. You know what I'm
Something gonna
talking
be a
about.
funny
Get
somewhere.
it.
Somebody going. I. What are your lips? Why are they big? You probably say because people will laugh at you. You know that if you have big lips. But I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna make you feel real good tonight.
All right.
You're people of the sun, brother.
The sun. Did you say
Yes.
the sun?
Yes, that's what he says.
Yeah.
People of the sun.
Close to the equator. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll accept that. Almost,
Come on, Doc.
almost. But I'm gonna.
Oh
All
boy.
right, I'm gonna roll with that. But I'm gonna give you a better reason. Your lips are for when you eat food, specifically things like fruits and vegetables. Your lips are the first level of digestion that absorbs the minerals. So the
You
bigger your lips are, the more you absorb into the bloodstream.
well
Now,
have
don't you feel
mercy.
special right now?
I know that's right. Boy, oh boy. Thank you,
So
Daddy.
you see, said no. Maxine said no. She says no, no. But that's what you see. You can extract more nutrients out of your food when your lips are bigger. Did you know that?
Okay, can you tell me
Wow.
why that is, Dr. Paul Simon?
Because you have more availability of moisture with the lips that absorb
Okay.
more. That's what
Okay.
your
All
lips
right.
are for.
All
Therefore, the
right.
first level of absorption of nutrients into the body. So if you have no lips, then you can get all of the nutrients out of the food as you can. That's why
Wow.
you take some things and you like a peach or
Mm-hmm.
something or a plum when it's really juicy, you can actually absorb it. That's starting your absorption of minerals into the
Wow.
body.
Wow.
Wow. Y'all should
Wow.
feel special right now. Y'all should be clapping.
I know I does.
Y'all should be
Man, oh
throwing
man.
something at the screen right now.
Well, what can I tell you? Yeah, okay.
All right, all right, all right. I think it's special. All right, thank you, Bill. All right. Audrey, did that answer your question? I think
Yes.
if you start to do a little bit of the things like that, also coconut oil is good. Also, coconut oil, but make sure if coconut oil is unrefined and non-hydrogenated. Got it. That's the key. They are getting away with unrefined hydrogenated, which hydrogenization, we did a whole show on hydrogenization. That's when they're using hydrogen for stripping out, and that's a form of refining, but they're getting away with putting it in the coconut oil. So don't
Mm-hmm.
put that type of coconut oil on your skin because that's going to block up the pores. You
All
got it?
right.
Hydrogenization is a form of hardening things that came from Procter and Gamble back in the 1900s around the turn of the war. So they actually used that for making soap.
Mm.
So they hydrogenate things to make them tight. So that's what frozen dinners are. That's what the non-dairy creamers are. All that stuff. So you don't want to get that into your system because if it's making it hard, then that's what happens when it gets into your bloodstream. It makes it hard. That's why those that take a lot of hydrogenated foods tend to have high cholesterol and high
Mm.
blood pressure issues and
Okay.
plaque issues in your
Okay.
arteries and veins. Got it?
Okay.
All right, family. That's a good one. All right, Audrey. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we got is that Cinnamon Stevens? Cinnamon?
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
we
I can hear
can.
you.
Oh, perfect, perfect. How you doing?
All right.
So I had two questions. My first question is about extreme dandruff on the scalp. My dermatologist says that I overproduce too much oil, so then it dries up and it flakes. So I just wanted to see if you had any suggestion.
Yes, absolutely. Well, dandruff on the skin, on the scalp, is
Yes.
going back to you have to watch your yeast. That's an overproduction of yeast, believe it or not.
Mm.
Wow.
So we got to watch the sweet, refined sugars, refined salts, refined oils. It's a yeast issue. It starts
Okay.
to be so. What you got to do is it dries out. That's actually why um, we start to use things like the oils, like the coconut oil is excellent for the scalp. That's why you see it in a lot of the hair formulas, and
Mm-hmm.
also tea tree oil. Okay, these are antifungal, antiseptic, antiparasitic. They deal with yeast and things like that. But before anything, you got to watch your food choices. There's a detox in order. Any ever been told any issues with yeast at all?
No, never been told anything
Hmm.
about yeast.
Yeah, we got a lot of yeast problems, and a lot of the yeast issues come from the refining of all the foods. That's what we have. So you got to watch that. There's a top 10 list that I have on my website. Top 10 toxic foods. You got to stay away from them. People build up a lot of yeast, or they're so acidic that it creates the environment which yeast which yeast starts to build. So you can have yeast all over the body. You can have yeast, of course, under the armpits, in the crouch area, under, in the in the mouth, on the tongue, all over the body. So that's where, the candida, happens in the gut
Yeah.
also. So you got to make sure you cleanse with that. There's a parasite formula. I have a parasite formula. Let me see if I got it. Yes, this is a parasite formula that I have. Can y'all see this?
Yes.
Oop,
Kind of.
I'm right there.
That right there, right there, right there.
Right
Okay.
there.
I can
Mhm.
see.
See it? It's called the Eliminator. Okay, the Eliminator. It's a formula that I have that deals with all of the things that deal with yeast and fungus, but also parasites. Okay, of any and all kinds. So that has the ingredients that it has would be things like the wormwood,
Mhm.
of course, the garlic bulb, also the chaparral. I put in here also fennel, slippery bark, slippery elm bark. Black walnut is a good one. Black walnut.
Mhm.
So these are the things that you would use for tackling yeast. But also, if there was anything on the scalp, see, we use, for example, those who have like lice. That's where the coconut oil comes from. It's very good for lice or bugs in the hair when children have the ringworms, things like that. Okay.
Okay.
So maybe that can help you, okay? But
Okay.
definitely you need a gut cleanse. You need to do a gut cleanse. That's the colon cleanse. And then I would follow it up with a parasite cleanse.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a 1-2 punch. Here's the colon cleanse right here. Ooh, there it is right
Now
there.
the question is, do you have to complete the colon cleanse before you start the?
Yep. Yep. I would recommend that.
Okay.
Only time we say you can take both is if you have an accelerated situation. If you
Right.
have
Okay.
accelerated situation, then definitely you can take both. But I would have to give you instructions on how to do that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right.
But usually, family, we got so much going on where they're not telling us what's in the food. That's the whole fight. The whole fight is that, you don't know what's in the food. Keep you in the dark.
Mhm.
There's no food mandatory labeling laws, so we can put anything we want to in here. And then, people get sick, don't know why, saying this just all of a sudden this happened to me. But really all along it was happening. So that's why we have to go back to cleaning the gut. Okay? So clean the gut, family. All right?
Okay.
All right, all right. Who do we have now? Is that Cecilia?
Dr. Paul, can I ask a question about the eliminator before you
Okay,
go on?
sure.
Why is it that you only do it 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off?
No, that's not the parasite formula. Not for that one. That's the golden seal. You mean the golden seal?
No, on my bottle it says 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off.
No, there is a layman's term that you can use there. So there's really no bad way of doing it because it's food. But if they're layman's, if you're starting for the first time, we're trying to introduce people to the system because people have different levels of gut activity. Some people are heavy meat eaters. Some people are vegetarian. Some people, eat a lot of chicken, a lot of pork, So people are at different levels. That's why we start them off slow, introducing it to your system. Got it? So ultimately, you have to find out what works for you. So we try to walk you slow. It has on there desired results. You remember seeing that on there? Has desired results. Well, what is desired results? That means that once you eat, soon after, you should eliminate. Got it? That's what it means. So when you receive a desired result, that means you're in a constant rhythm. That soon after you eat, soon after you're going to eliminate. So remember that time for elimination, right? Y'all remember that, right? Do I have to do a test tonight? I don't think I have to do this. Mic
Well,
on.
oh, but they're not
4
gonna tell.
a.m. to 7 p.m.
4 a.m. to 7 p.m. All right, this is the digestive system. Okay, the digestive system. How long after you eat should you eliminate? After
Oh,
you eat,
18
right?
to
A half
But
hour.
what is the digestive cycle? You remember that digestive cycle, right? You
18
remember I
hours,
told you?
something like
48
that.
3 hours.
I think
3 hours
48,
after.
48 hours to 72 hours.
Oh, I know you.
Right. There you go. Somebody said it. Somebody said it. So somewhere between 18 and 48 hours. That's the time right there. 18 and 48 hours. So whatever you have between 18 and 48 hours, well, as soon as you eat, you should see it between 18 and 48. Now, if it's before 18 hours, what's that? That's what?
Diarrhea.
Diarrhea.
Diarrhea, right? So if you get diarrhea, what's the first thing that comes to mind that you know something's going on, right? What's going on if you get diarrhea?
You have some kind of bug in your system.
Somebody, what'd you say, Maxine? What'd you say?
You say you have some kind of bug in your system.
You got some bugs in you. That's right. Y'all crack me up. Y'all, you know what people ask me? They said, if I take this, will I see him?
Yes, you will.
I don't want to see him. I said, would you rather hold on to him? What do you want?
If
So,
you have a colonic, you will see them.
oh,
So
yes.
what do they
Well,
look like?
You
you
don't
may.
know.
All right, let me clean this up. All right. You may or may not see them based on the type of parasite that you have. Got it? Most of them are microscopic and you will not see them. Got it? It's only ones like the flatworms or the fluke worms or sometimes like the tapeworms that are getting real big and then you'll start to see them. You know, back in the day when if anybody know down south, they used to have children. You ever see children used to when they go to sleep because they had too much sugar. See, sugar attracts parasites to the system. So some of the children, the signs of a child having parasites would be when the child is laying down and they sleep with their butt up in the air. You ever see that before?
Mm-hmm,
When
mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
child has the butt up in the air, that's because they're trying to cool the butt down because it's itching. So what's happening is that's the parasites, sign of parasites. So they would attract the parasites by literally this is deep, but this is old school. They would pour milk on the baby's behind,
Oh
and it
my.
would actually draw the parasites out
Brother
of the system.
Frederick. Mm.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's real old. Somebody in here, if y'all don't
Well,
know, y'all ask some of your grandparents. They say, "Oh yeah, I remember that." Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Maxine said,
that's
wasn't me.
But parasites move, and that's why I'd say take the eliminator. You
Yes,
take
yes.
that in the evening after that last dinner. You got it? And that's when it becomes most effective because parasites have a circadian rhythm also. How about that? Did y'all know that? That parasites have a circadian rhythm also. They're alive.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
They move
anything
at
that's
night, right?
they
They
eat at night. You know
night
why do they eat at night? Why do they eat at night?
because they're
Anybody?
sleeping during the day. I don't know.
Because you're resting.
Because you're
Because that's
resting.
when our body is relaxing.
Yes, who said that? That sounds like Carolyn. Is that Carolyn? Yes, that is Carolyn. I can't forget that voice. Yes, that's your voice. Carolyn is absolutely right. See what's happening. See, the parasites can't move around. You too active.
Yes,
Bloodstream's moving too fast. I can't do nothing. Too much going on. It's when you cool down, you get comfortable, watch your favorite show, and you sitting there with that big old thing of ice cream. Everything's shutting down, right?
Ooh.
And
Ooh.
now when you sitting down, your heart rate goes down. They dive right into the bloodstream.
Wow.
Now they move all around.
Mm.
Yep. And that's when you sleeping and then you start to feel that little itching going on. They usually go to the places where they can mass produce and reproduce faster than anything, and they do that by fecal matter. So they go to the anus. That's exactly what they do, and they'll sit there, and that's why people start to have rectal itching at night. If you have rectal itching at night, that is parasites. That is absolutely not it's,
And the
it's
kid said,
not your
ew.
imagination. It is
Not your.
absolutely parasites.
Okay, so I was taking this. I was taking this stuff.
Hey, Tom, how are you? Oh, he came right.
Okay. All right. Flo, just what did you say? Did you say something, Flo?
I said I was taking it taking it every 4 hours for 2 weeks.
Sure, that's nothing wrong with that. That's okay. That's no problem. See, you can still do that. There is no wrong time to take it, but I'm just giving you the scenario of what's more effective. When you start to take it in the evening, now they're gonna dive in there and think everything is cool. Yay! You go dive in there, and then this parasite form are gonna be waiting right there for them. Like, okay,
That's all right.
you
Try
got
this. I
it.
got you.
Got something for you
I
now.
know that's right. Bring
Yep,
it
take
on.
them right on out of here. Destroys them. Destroys any ability for it to procreate or actually lay eggs. Got it? That's the whole key. You gotta basically shut them down, but you put it in the time when they're most active. You got it? All right. Good question, Flo. Good question. All right, Cecilia. Did we answer the? Did we get Cecilia?
No, here I am.
Okay, Cecilia, how you doing?
Okay, how you doing? Hi, family.
Hello.
All right.
I had a question because I was in your office like about a month ago,
Mm-hmm.
and you put me on 4 different herbs for my fibromyalgia,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to know if I was supposed to take them all or just pick one because I've been taking all 4 that you suggested.
Okay. Well, remember, we tried to do the recommendation is all those herbs. The ones I gave you are based on where the imbalances were. Got it? So the concept is to put everything into a power green drink. You got it? So, for example, give me the ones that we talked about,
The red raspberry, the
which
butcher's
is okay. Let's start with each one. So the red raspberry is balance. That's for hormonal balance. Okay, that's the woman's herb we call. When you talk about thyroid issues, also progesterone, estrogen, testosterone balancers, that's the one. Got it? Okay, next one.
butcher's drum.
Butcher's broom is circulation. Okay, that's where usually things like neuropathy, tightness in the hands and the feet, things like sometimes cold feet. There's always extremities. Okay, what's the
Third
next
one
one?
was the burdock root.
Burdock root is liver. That's blood cleanser. So that's going to cleanse not only the blood, but the liver, but all the organs, and specifically it deals with skin also. Got it? So that's a derma. Whenever you want to clean the skin, you got to clean the liver. Also, it's the nuclear reactor, the power source. So if you're having issues with energy going like this throughout the day, that's where burdock root keeps you like this. Your goal is to stay right there. Okay? What's the next one?
The golden seal.
Okay, golden seal is dealing with infections. That's any type of total cleanse of the body. That is where we start to deal with things like problems with organs. If you just want to reset the body, that's what golden seal does. They changed, matter of fact, golden seal root actually changed the entire NFL. They couldn't figure out how these football players were actually passing the drug test. They were like, "How are they doing it? We know they doing it because we spying on them." So how are they doing it? Well, they were taking golden seal, which gets you clean. It cleans the blood, cleans the organs. It also deals with a lot of infections. A lot of people that I deal with are taking that also as a seasonal cleanse. So that's why we put that in there for you. Okay. So how would you do that? What was it? It was one more.
Should I also be doing the colon and the parasite cleanse with all this?
No. Remember, this is your main formula. The whole point is that that's your formula for your imbalances. That's based on what's going on with you. So when you're trying to do that, you put everything into the green drink. You got a green drink, right?
Right, but I haven't been putting it in a green drink. I've been taking the pills once a day.
Right. Everything goes in the green drink. See, if you don't have that green drink, you don't have the energy to keep it right here. The whole purpose of the green drink, which is right here. Can y'all see that?
There you go. Right there.
Yes.
Bring it forward just a bit, Dr. Paul. It's just, it's
Hold up. Playing games with me. Now I'm fading out.
Yeah.
There it is right there. Can you see it?
Yep, there you go, right there.
Okay, that is the
Sharon
green.
got hers up. See,
Yeah, thank you very
there you go.
much.
Thanks, Sharon.
So that is the phytonutrient green drink that balances your pH. Remember, everybody is malnutrition. And when you're living in this northern hemisphere, you're not getting enough sunlight. You don't have the energy. That's what the green drink is for, to hold your charge, to keep you right here. You got me? Or if not, you're taking some of the herbs, but you're like this. You got to have that energy. So the green drink is a meal replacement. It's for
Yeah.
also for keeping you strong and keeping your pH. Because if you don't have the energy, remember, this is a energy game. You got it? It's a energy game. And if you don't have the proper amount of energy, you cannot keep the staying in that zone where the pH stays strong. So if you take everything and just whatever it says, Cecilia, make sure you read the bottle, okay? Everything that it says on the bottle, take as recommended on the bottle and just split it into your greens. Got it? I do always, when we start folks off on a new program, we say try to do one after every meal. It is a meal replacement. Remember, 1947, they said food doesn't have 47% of its nutrients. Wow. So what does that mean? There's nothing in the food. So you have to maintain that. So that's why that's probably, Cecilia, the most important of everything you just mentioned, is because you have to maintain the energy right here. Got it? Now, everything else in there with those other herbs you just mentioned are going to go to where they need to go based on where your imbalances were based on your assessment. You got me? So how does the herb know where to go? Ain't that something? How does the herb
Good question.
know where to go? So remember, she just said burdock root, right? And I said that goes to the liver, right? And we said that the red raspberry, that deals with the endocrine system, right? So that deals with your hormones. So how does it know where to go? Well, guess what? Everything is based off of frequency, energy, and charge. That means plants are alive and they have a certain frequency, vibration, and energy. So inside of our bodies, we have the same thing. So every bone, joint, ligament, connective tissue, every organ, your eyes, everything has a frequency. So when you take that herb, it matches exactly the frequency that's going on inside of you.
That's what's up. That's what's
Ain't
up.
that awesome? I'll tell you, if you can't see God, you ain't looking. How about that?
Well,
Ain't that awesome? So that's where we have to understand this is a perfect system. So the food, there's herbs that know directly to go to the liver, to the pancreas, to the kidneys, to the brain, to the muscles, to the tendons. It's just a perfect system. So that's why, Cecilia, that's why we map that based off of you. Okay, so we're not guessing. That's why when we do an African holistic health, we don't guess. We go to the root of the problem.
there you go.
All right.
That's right.
All right. You got that, Celia? All right. All right. You're muted now, but that's okay. Thank you. All right. Who else we got? We got Michelle. Michelle? Saris?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey,
Okay.
Michelle. How you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Oh, we are doing well. Doing well.
That's good. So I have a question. So is it true that like wearing masks will stop your blood oxygen from flowing? Because I get so lightheaded about wearing those masks, and I gotta wear them all day at work.
So where you work in an environment like is it a hospital or something or?
Yeah, a hospital office I work in with several people. But I take it off when when I'm by myself.
Yeah, you should. Everyone should take time out to get the proper amount of oxygen. There's a time that you, of course, if you're around other folks, you without starting a moral conflict, you can actually, wear the mask in just appreciation and respect to other people. But there are times when you need to take it off. Okay, you got to get some fresh air. I would say for every person that's listening, you need to go out and just take a point of starting to take deep breaths every day, because the fact that you know that you have the mask on or you're going in and out of situations. I would, for example, we talk about the breathing, right? I'm going to tell you that 90% of the time people come in to get an RM3A assessment with me, 90% of them are not breathing right. You know what that means? 90% of us are not breathing. I'll say, take a deep breath, and people throw up the chest
Yeah.
like this, right? That's absolutely wrong. You got it? That's absolutely wrong. If you're going to breathe, you take air in, the abdomen and the stomach comes out. Got it? It's a very easy process if you just let it go. If you try not to even work and just let it happen organically, it's going to happen. And to prove that point, all you got to do is look at a baby. You ever see a baby breathe? Right? You see a baby breathe, stomach just coming out like this. You don't see the babies going like this, do you? Right? You got me. You got me.
No, Dr.
Babies
Bovek,
just sit there, stomach just moving in and out, moving in and out. Got it?
all you gotta do is look at
They're
yourself.
not stressed. It just
Stop being-
shows that we have been so stressed out
Yes, yes.
that we harbor upper breathing, short breathing. So that's like when somebody tells you bad news, you go like this, right? You harbor all of that stuff up here. You got me? So you're not getting proper amount of oxygen. And usually if you have had a lipid test of anything from blood and urine, you can actually see on the test a carbon dioxide rate. And most people's carbon dioxide rates are super high because that means you're holding on to it. You got it? And also that means you're in a state of too much acidosis. You know what? The other thing is, the sparkling waters, we also talk about the sodas. You remember, that's carbonated. Anything carbonated is supporting the acid environment. So, for example, if you're breathing in oxygen and you're blowing out carbon dioxide, then why are you drinking carbon? You got
Yes.
it? Why are
I
you
know that's
drinking
right.
carbon? You don't want to be drinking carbon. That's waste. You're trying to get rid of it. You got it? So that's why just keep that in mind. All right. All right,
Okay.
Michelle.
Thank you. Yes,
All right.
thank you.
All right. All right.
Something
And
comes to mind real quick, Dr. Paul, before you go. What kind can you use house plants? Are they good for oxygen in your homes?
absolutely. You know what I said? We are we are nothing but plants ourselves. We just
All
got the
right.
ability to
Okay.
walk around. That's
Okay.
all. We
All right.
have the advantage of walking around, which means that just like a plant, you could take a plant, seed it, germinate it into the soil, water it, but if you don't get sunlight, you got nothing.
I know that's
That
right.
that plant's not going nowhere. So that means the same thing for you. The activator for you is definitely the sun.
Yes.
So when you're taking all these herbs, and people say, I take herbs every day and don't seem like it's working, maybe it's because you're not getting enough sun.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. That's the major activator. Keeps your body that's like the thing that starts the spark to keep it moving. You got it? That's the chain reaction. So keep that in mind, all right? All right. All right, where are we, Bill? You got anyone on the chat?
Well, one of them came from that. But then, there's some folk who are just trying to figure out if there was one here that wanted to know if you could use. Wait a minute, let me find it here, Dr. Paul. They wanted. No, never mind. Yeah, I think you already covered it. Sorry about that. You already covered it. Okay.
I covered it already?
Yep.
Okay, got it. All right, I got Robin. Is that Robin?
Yes, that's Robin. Hi, everyone. How are you?
Hello, Robin.
All right, Robin.
Dr. Paul, I have a couple of questions. I had my gallbladder taken out in 2000. Wait, let me start over. I did call to get an assessment. So I haven't gotten a call back yet. So maybe I'll get it tomorrow or Friday.
Where did you call?
Earlier this morning.
Okay, yeah, they'll probably call. They'll probably call you probably tomorrow.
Okay, cool. Okay, that's one. The second is I had my gallbladder taken out in 2000. I realized there are certain things I can eat and certain things I can't eat. I believe I'm a very good eater. I eat no red meat. I eat no pork. I eat a lot of fish. I stop eating salmon. And I eat chicken. So I don't go to the bathroom like I'm supposed to, and it's irritating me. I take your greens, your powder. I've been taking the cleanser. Now I'm almost done with the cleanse. So now I'm gonna get ready to take the eliminator. I drink a lot of water. I don't drink sodas. I don't think I do anything that I'm not supposed. I mean, sometimes I eat some cake and all that little good stuff, but that's not every day. But I feel so bloated at times. Like I can eat a small meal and I feel so bloated. And I won't go to the bathroom for maybe 2 days, and then I'll go to the bathroom. I that's what I don't like. That's why I need to come see you. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's going back to the villa. On the villa. I started off today talking about how the gut is under attack. You have these little hairs that sit sort of like in your gut. Okay, they go back and forth, and their job is their villa. They actually take the nutrients out of the food and brings it into the body. But you got to be careful because things like antibiotics, medication, GMOs, processed foods, chemicals, sprays, dyes, they get in and they cover them. Okay. Even things like, believe it or not, things like lectins, called lectins, lectin, lectins. These are things and proteins that the plant you get from things like nightshades, things like beans, certain nuts, things that block the villi tend to cause digestive issues. You can't absorb. There is an assimilation issue with everything you just mentioned.
Okay.
You got it? Assimilation. Yes. So there's no assimilation happening. That's where the bloating is coming because everything is backing up. The body's like, I can't get it in. I can't get it in. People have destroyed villi. Some of it is so bad that it's actually wiped out. They've teared out the lining of their villi. So there's no absorption rate at all. And that's when people say, I'm eating and I don't know what's going on. I can't get this thing right. And guess what? The gut has been destroyed. So we got to repair the gut. And I'm going to tell you, it's probably because of all the things that we think that we're eating that are good, but they're not. Now, you mentioned one that's hot off the presses, and this is going to have to break somebody's heart tonight. But the salmon, you got to watch the salmon, y'all.
Well, I did. I stopped eating it. I did. I cut that completely out.
Yeah, no salmon, period. Okay? And also, watch the beans. If you're doing beans, you're going to have to do beans, but you use what's called pressure cookers. Okay, who has a pressure cooker? Anybody have a pressure cooker?
I do.
Everybody got a pressure cooker? Okay, that's what happens. Yeah, everybody loves that salmon response, Bill. It's always a hoot.
Dr. Horn,
Yes.
what's the difference in the salmon? Is the farm grown salmon or the actual ones that are in the wild? That makes the difference.
Okay, I got to go through the whole story again.
Okay.
The whole concept of what's happening with the salmon has everything to do with greed and money.
Yeah,
They wanted to make a larger salmon. And in this has been going on a long time in Canada. Okay, so what they did, they wanted to make a larger salmon. How do we make a larger salmon? Well, we're going to mix it or genetically modify it with something that grows because we want to make a bigger one, right? We want a better presentation so we can make larger and make more money. So what do we have that we can mix it with that can make it grow and keep it, make us more money? Well, we're going to grab the growth hormones of a sea eel, which is a scavenger, and take that and put it into the embryo of the salmon. And now the salmon, as it grows, it keeps growing. But here's the problem. It never stops growing. Got it?
Oh, my.
So it never stops growing. So the FDA said, well, wait a minute, you're going to have to kill that at a certain time. So there's all these rules and restrictions that have been placed on it as it was the first introduction of this genetically modified salmon took place January 2019. So you've been eating it for a whole year, y'all.
Wow.
You got it? You've been eating it for a whole year. So the FDA also said, well, hey, guess what? Matter of fact, if you do this, you don't even have to tell them till 2022. You don't have to label it on the product. So many manufacturers may or may not list it on that. Even if it's wild caught, you don't know if they introduce the genetic version or the regular version. You just don't know. They don't have the obligation to tell you. You got it?
Okay.
So that's the problem. Now, there's some people say, well, wait a minute, wild caught. Yeah, it may be a wild caught company, but you don't know if they have the right to issue this or not. They can do it and you never even know it.
Okay.
So that's why I said be careful. Be very careful on dealing with it. There's so many other fish in the sea that that sounds so familiar. That was like a like Bill, that was like a proverb or something. There's so many fish in the sea.
That was a Motown song.
Yeah.
The Marvelette.
You don't have to anything with fins and scales.
There you go.
Fins and scales. That's it. You don't have to deal with salmon. You know, and most of the time, and cod is excellent. You know what cod has? Cod has vitamin A in it that actually is very hard to get, which is very good for connective tissue and a whole lot of other things. You know, cod is excellent. You know, fins and scales. That's it.
Listen, family.
Go to the fish store and say, hey, he said, Bill, you got fins and scales? Yep. Grab him up. That's it. You know, you got croakers, you got sea bass, you got striped bass, you got walleye, you got weekies, you got ling. I'm just rolling off the top of my head all the different fish because I used to be a fisherman.
Mercury?
Huh?
Aren't those high in mercury?
No, it depends. Mercury comes from where the fish are usually in high levels of trafficking. Like they do things, they found that in things like the mercury in the tuna cans. Okay, that's where they're finding them. It's where they're dredging them from. Yeah, we do have a problem with some things, but the fresh caught, those are your best bet. That's the closest thing to the real thing. You got it? So if you're going to get fish, the number one thing is fins and scales are high swimmers. Got it? They're up here. Poop falls where?
Down.
To the bottom, right? That's the reason why you don't want to eat the shellfish. You got it? The shellfish, the shrimp, the lobster, the crabs. Oh my. Y'all just going like this, man. You just stepped on my crabs, man.
There's a whole bunch of stuff out there, guys.
No, that's right.
Woo! Let me tell you, y'all, it's causing a lot of stuff. Spots, yes, I love spots. I love trout. Trout is excellent. You know, trout is an excellent one. Yes.
You can get it.
So porgies, yes. Somebody said porgies. Yep. So there's a lot of things that you can do, but remember, you gotta watch this shellfish family. They're dredging them from the contaminated beds where all the oil spills are. So when you're dredging them, they're pulling them with all of the toxins and chemicals, and that stuff goes in and starts to penetrate your what's called the myelin sheath, which is your central nervous system in your body. And when it starts to ping that's like the area where it starts to ping when it starts to deal with, motor skills, things like walking, talking, your ability to coordinate. It also deals with, you ever see anybody shaking, hand shaking? You ever prayed with somebody and they hand shaking like that? Yeah, they're tearing down of their central nervous system. We see it also with children. Children are having this issue now. Why? Because a lot of them are introducing too much of these things that are damaging the myelin sheath, which is like a coating on your central nervous system. So what happens? It breaks it. Now you got the tremor. And we're seeing a lot of young folks who love shrimp, lobster, crabs, and all of that. A lot of that stuff also is highly parasitic. A lot of parasites with it. You remember, that's God's cleanup crew, right, y'all? Ain't that God's cleanup crew? That means that when they are called anthropods.
Yes.
You mean God said, hey, I need a cleanup crew down here, Bill?
Yeah, I know
I
that's
got this
right.
beautiful ocean I made. Now I need a cleanup crew. I got to clean this thing up. So what am I going to do? I'm going to have, I'm going to give, I can't put him down there with a regular body because the pressure of the ocean would crush his body. So I'm going to give him an exoskeleton. His skeleton's on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yours is on the inside. Ours is on the inside, right? So with that, there's land anthropods and there's sea anthropods. So what's a land anthropod? Got it?
Cockroaches.
We got roaches. Absolutely. The
Well,
cockroach is an anthropod. So technically, the sea shrimp, lobsters, crabs, those are sea roaches. Got it? You don't want to eat them. Oysters, clams, mussels, those are the filters. Those are like mini
yes.
filters.
Scallop,
Scallops
shrimp,
too?
scallop. Yes,
Scallops,
ma'am.
actually, for many years, believe it or not, and I learned this from a fisherman, which is my uncle. Since 1967, scallops has actually been shark meat, but that's a whole nother story. I'm not
Wow.
going to
That's
get
right.
into that's shark meat. All right. So just
There's
keep
a
it in
whole
mind.
list.
This
I've
I
got
thing.
a
have a
whole list of
question.
stuff here.
Okay,
But
wait a minute. I wanted to say this. I wanted to sort of just say and have an understanding. Everything we're talking about tonight has everything to do about you getting it in and getting it out.
out. Yes.
It's a toxicity issue. The body's always balancing, trying to do this thing called homeostasis. So you're trying to balance it out, get it out of you. And the longer it stays in your system, that's when the damage is done. You got it? So you got to purge this stuff out. That's what the herbs do. Bind to that stuff, pull it out of you. You got it? All right.
I
Did we
have a
answer that one?
question.
All right. Raise your hand on the right side because we got a line on the right side. Y'all see it?
I can't. I'm not on Zoom. I'm sorry.
Okay.
She's
What's your
on the phone.
question? And then we'll get
Okay.
to you, Sylvia. I see you, Sylvia. Okay.
Okay. This is Nisa. I'm calling from Florida. I have a
Okay.
question, Dr. Paul.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, with the myelin sheath, that's where your MS and your Parkinson's come into play.
That is
It's
correct.
with the yeah. But I'm having an issue with. It just started last week. I had my eye exam. I was fine. Then I started seeing a floater in my left eye. So I'm waiting for it to come, ordered some Dr. Christopher's eye
Right.
formula.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm on the right track with that. I already have my eyeglass, so I'm waiting for it to come so I can start cleansing my eyes
Yes.
to see how that works. The
Absolutely.
other thing, you were mentioning fish. What the other question is, what about tilapia? I've never heard of it, so I don't eat tilapia. And the other thing, because that's not a fish that I
Man-made.
grew up under. So the other thing is, can you talk about the wheat? Because
Yes.
a lot of people are eating wheat and think it's good, and it's not good for you.
Yeah, that goes back in. I'm gonna go from the reverse on those questions. Wheat is actually
Okay.
what we had just talked about, the lectin issues.
The lectin.
Yep, lectin issues. Wheat is modified. And let me tell you this: nobody started talking about these problems until they started genetically modifying the wheat.
Yes,
You got
exactly.
it. So it's causing a problem right now. So it's blocking the villi. They'll say bread, it'll say wheat bread, and then it says whole wheat bread, and the first item on the ingredients is refined
I'm coming.
refined wheat. It's crazy. They just know people don't read. They know it. They'll do it right in your face. And it's also most bread is genetically engineered right now. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know most bread? Everybody grab your bread right now. I'll give you 5 minutes. Grab your bread, or if you can get to it, grab some bread. And I want you to start looking down at that line. Most bread from most manufacturers, it says made with bioengineered ingredients. So
Oh
all of
my.
that's going to mess up your gut. See, this is going back to Robin. Remember we were talking about that, what's happening in the gut. A lot of people thinking they're getting a lot of this bad gut material with perfect acid in the body for yeast and candida and all these things to grow, and we can't get rid of this stuff. So keep that in mind, okay? What was the other question there?
She was talking about tilapia.
Tilapia. Okay, tilapia is, we laugh about tilapia. Don't eat the tilapia. Okay, just don't eat it. Yes, tilapia. I did the research on tilapia and found out that tilapia actually is a real fish. And it comes, believe it or not, it was an ancient fish out of Egypt. Yes, but they've done some things to it and modified this thing in a lot of ways. And then, of
Yes.
course, the conditions in which this thing is actually been grown and the things that they do and the
Yes.
conditions that
Yes.
it in has made it a polluted fish. Okay,
Yes.
so just stay away from it. Got it? But it is a real fish. It is actually a tilapia, or there is a progenitor of the tilapia line, but it originated out of Egypt. Wow, ain't that deep? Swimming up the Nile. How about that? All right. And what was the last? Was there another question, or was that
I think that was the last part.
Okay. All right. Got it.
Don't forget.
Okay, Sylvia. Okay, go ahead.
Last
It
week
was
you
the
talked.
eye.
Last
Okay.
week you
Okay, I'm sorry, Sylvia. What was that again?
last week you talked about oatmeal. I just need clarification on oatmeal.
No.
Yeah, no oatmeal because of
No.
what they're spraying on the oatmeal. It's being
Oh.
pre-sprayed. Yes, it's
Oh.
being pre-sprayed by this thing called glyphosate. Got it? And that's what's causing a lot of the digestive issues. Most people that are having issues with gut issues starts with oatmeal.
Okay.
Okay, so probably move out the oatmeal, go with something else. I would suggest everyone, there's a brand called Bob's Red Mill, excellent brand. They're looking out with an understanding about this whole gut issue. So Bob's Red Mill is an excellent one for you. Got
Where do
it?
you get it?
You can go to any of the stores. You can go to
Stop right.
Sprouts.
Yep, you can go anywhere and get that. It's in all the
Okay.
cereal divisions, all the cereal parts of the stores, whether ShopRite, Acme. You can go to, of course, the Whole Food stores. You know, Mom, Sprouts, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's. All of them will have it. Bob's Red Mill. He has a great brown rice and farina that is good. Okay.
Okay.
And then what you do is you add it with something like a fruit. You add a fruit, but if it causes digestive gut issues, stop it. Okay.
Okay.
You got to be careful. They are spraying stuff. They're just getting away with everything. They're doing anything they want to do with the food, y'all. All right. So clean that gut. Clean that gut. All right. Okay. All right. I'm going to go over here. Big B, let me know if there's anyone chiming in on the chat. If you have a quick question on the chat, also.
You know what? There's one here, Dr. Well, I'm not quite sure if it is what it says. It says real quick now, asking about can fennel, asparagus, and almond help with eyesight? Number one. Also, is smoking a good way to fix the beans up a little better?
Say, wait a minute. We'll start that question over again.
There are actually two
What was
questions.
that?
The first one was, can fennel, asparagus, and almonds help with eyesight? That's the first one. Okay, and then second one, I'm not quite sure if this is a typo or not. Is smoking a good way to fix the beans up a little better until I get a pressure cooker?
Smoking them?
You mean smoking them, not smoking
I'm sorry,
them.
Dr.
I'm thinking
Paul,
smoking
that was
them.
me.
That meant
That
smoking
was
the
a mistake,
beans.
Mr. Bill.
That's
Mr. Bill,
smoking
I
the
meant
beans.
smoking.
Smoking the beans?
No, I meant
I was gonna-
I meant soaking the beans.
Oh,
Country.
soaking the beans. Oh.
Yes.
Dr. Paul, I know what.
Okay, my name is
She's
May,
rolling them
so
up, Dr.
you know
Paul.
I'm country.
Okay, man, I got you. All right, so you need a pressure cooker. See, remember the whole point of the lectin that is produced with the nightshades, anything that anything with the seeds. You ever see the seeds inside of a green pepper, things like that. Also, this is the plant trying to create a protection for its seedlings. That's what it's doing. So this is what it creates. It's like a protein, and this protein is what actually covers, and when it gets in your gut, covers the villi or villa. Got it? So the whole concept of pressure cooking is that you denature that protein. Got it? That's what it does. So when you have extreme heat and pressure, it destroys the lectin. You got it? It destroys it. So now the bean is digestible and you can absorb it into the system. It's all about assimilation. You got it? It's all about assimilation. So if there's any other way of doing it, that's the only way we're going to get it. If you have problems with a specific bean, because you don't produce, number one, the enzyme. For some people, when they take beans, immediately they have a lot of gas. That's usually because of the lectins, but because you don't create the protein. Now, if you eat this long enough, if you eat a consistent bean long enough, you do start to produce the enzyme to break that protein down. That's why some people, you can go to certain people's, everybody ever say, well, I went to a Thai restaurant last night and boy, I got gas like crazy. Got it? Because if you go to Chinese restaurants or Italian or Thai restaurants or any of those restaurants, you're not used to eating that type of food on a regular basis. So you don't produce the proper enzymes to break down the food. So what does it do? Creates gas. You try to produce something close to it, and your body says, well, I think I know what that is. So it creates some kind of an enzyme. But when that actually gets to the food, it creates a gas because it's not the exact enzyme to break it down. And so whenever there's gas, pass it down. Got it? And that's where the gas comes from. Got it?
Okay.
All right. Okay,
Do you have
Big
any list of lectins?
What was that?
Do you have a list of all the lectins?
All you got to do is just Google. If you say Google lectins and you punch in LECTIN, you'll pull out every single one of them. Nightshades. Yep. Any of those, you can pull them down. If you want to post them, you can post them after you look them up, okay? All right.
Thank you.
All right. Is that Caleb's?
Okay, go ahead.
Is that Caleb's mom? Where's Caleb's mom? Hey, how you doing?
I'm well, thank you. I actually wrote it in the chat, so I just wanted to find out what we could do to repair or clean the kidneys and stop water buildup.
Yes.
And stop water?
Yes, water buildup. Feet are swelling and that type of thing.
Right. Well, specifically, not to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease, just food for the soul. One that's really good is dandelion. Believe it or not, dandelion root. Dandelion root is a very good one. See, dandelion, not only but it actually it pulls, not only it pulls the water off the legs or excess fluid in the body, cranks up the kidneys to get moving. So it adds a little bit of the magnesium that breaks down the calcium deposit that brewed up in the kidneys, which is called kidney stones. And at the same time, remember, when you have water removed from the body in any part of the body, say for instance, if you had a knee or something and you had to, or in your legs and they swell and you had to go get them drained, well, there's a lot of nutrients in there. And then when it pulls it out, the leg gets really weak. Usually, if anyone has had this done, knows what I'm talking about. Your knees or your feet or your legs get real weak. That's because when they pulled that water, there was a lot of nutrients in there. Well, here comes dandelion. Dandelion does a great thing. Dandelion actually says, I'm going to pull off the water. I'm going to crank up the kidneys to get it moving, add magnesium to actually break down the calcium deposits, and I'm going to put the potassium back in the leg so that you don't lose the energy. Ain't that awesome? Woo! That's mean. That is awesome. So
how long you have to take
dandelion is used when there's ever issues with lymphatic blockage issues, when people's legs are swelling, or they're deep leg thrombosis issues where their legs are swelling really, or the ankles are swelling big. That means the kidneys are shutting down, so you got to start doing something. So dandelion is an excellent one for that. Okay, dandelion root, and you see dandelion growing everywhere, don't you?
Yes.
Dandelion is a miracle. It'll grow right up in concrete, right where you think that there's no way that a tall dandelion is supposed to be growing in concrete. That is impossible.
Out of the side of a wall.
Isn't that amazing? That's amazing. So it does happen. All right. You can also do things like a kidney flush. I did give a kidney flush one time. Y'all want that kidney flush? Let me see if I can find that kidney flush.
And how often do you have to take the dandelion?
You can do it as often as you need to. You remember, this is food, right?
Okay.
Here's one right here. Kidney flush. All right, you can do a kidney flush. You can do a half a cup of fresh lemon juice. Make sure it's number 9. Okay, you can do a half a cup of fresh grapefruit. Okay, you can do 1 garlic clove, and it can also be minced garlic also. Okay. All right, and you can take 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of ginger root powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper.
Mm.
Mix that together. Mix it all together. Yep. And you can do it once a day.
For how long?
Usually, if you start, it depends on how aggressive you want to get with it. You can start to do it for about 2 weeks. Okay. That'll give you a good cleanse. Usually, by the first week, you'll see different changes. It's also going to soften the stones that happen, and usually stones that happen anywhere in the body is calcification because you're lacking magnesium. Okay. So that's why, the garlic, the ginger, the cayenne, they're dilating. The citric acid is breaking it down, things like that. So that's why that formula works real well. Okay.
Okay for kidney disease?
Hmm?
Would that be okay for kidney disease? Stage 3?
It depends on the situation with kidney disease. I would have to look at the person's situation. Kidney disease can vary in different ways, so I would first do an assessment before I recommend anything for someone who had kidney disease. You have to see, you said stage 3?
Yes.
Yeah, they have to get a reboot. They got to reset everything. So that means food choices, water. See, you can do all of these things that we talk about, but if you don't change your habits, that's the trigger. That's the trigger to the problem. The trigger sometimes is happening right up here. You got it? You can't get past the rituals and ceremonies of eating. You got it? So you got to get past that. So we would do an assessment for the person. All right? And but definitely I would say get an assessment. Come on in.
Wow.
And we can see what's going on. All right. All right. Who we have here? Is that AJ? Is that AJ or Ajah? I can't see it on my screen.
Let's see. Is it AJ? Ajah Fairbanks, right?
Is that Ajah? Is it Ajah?
Ajah, you
Fairbanks? Mm-hmm. Going once, going twice. I see you. You're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Unmute yourself, Ajah.
There you go. There you go.
Hi, Dr. Paul.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Is that Ajah? Is that Ajah?
It's Aja.
Aja. See,
Yes.
girl, you messing up.
That's because I'm from Georgia.
Okay, Aja, go ahead.
I don't have a question right now. I'm just tuning in. I have no
Okay.
question.
Okay. I saw
yeah.
your hand raised in there, so I thought you had a question there. All right.
Well, Dr. Paul, can I ask
I
a
have a
question since you don't
question.
have one?
Who is that?
I have a question.
Well, wait a minute. I got to go down. There's some people. There's a couple more in line in back of her. Okay. I got Cheryl T. Cheryl.
Oh, hi.
Oh, you will go ahead.
I have 2
Oh, no, you're
questions.
supposed to put the hand up.
One, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, but I got too much background
Okay,
noise
it's okay
there.
now.
Okay, you
There we
good?
Okay. Okay. 2. One is, can you tell us something about the oil of oregano and how to use it?
Mm-hmm.
The second question is, in the past, I've made the thieves oil without putting it in any liquid. Should I put it in an alcohol or a water?
Let's start with that one first. Water, absolutely. It goes in water. Yeah, never alcohol. See, alcohol it's a preservative used for a lot of the tinctured herbs and things, but not for that thieves oil formula. That should be in water. Okay. So you would take about 2 to 3 ounces of water.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who don't know what thieves oil is a protective oil combination that goes back to the bubonic plague.
Yes.
Okay, that was used as a protection and it protected people from the Black Death. So what it did, it actually, you do a combination of oils. And if you want to get that formula, you can go right to my website, which is drpaulherbs.com, and you can go to download, and it's at the bottom. Well, actually, you'll see Dr. Paul's Ultimate Green Herbal List.
Yep,
At
it's
the
right
very
there.
bottom, you'll see how to do and put together the thieves oil. Okay, so it's actually, I'll give just as a reference, the herbs are clove buds. Okay, clove bud, which is actually parasitic, anti-parasitic, lemon balm, cinnamon oil, eucalyptus, and rosemary. That's the ancient thieves oil. It's got a strong history. So when you go, it'll show you the proper form that you would make the concoction. It would put it together in like certain amount of drops of each one, but you would use water. Okay, use water with that. What kind of water you gonna use?
You're going to
Wow, Bill, it's like
From the
crickets, man.
source.
I
From the
don't,
source. Not what
Crystal geyser.
Crystal,
Geyser.
Geyser.
Geyser. Water from the source.
Water bottle
From the source.
There you go.
all
There you go.
right, all right, all right. Y'all come through in the clutch. All right. So yes, and that would be spring water, bottle at the source. Crystal geyser is excellent. I did a test with somebody today. It was crazy. I wonder if they're on tonight, but it was kind of funny because somebody was they were buying this very expensive water. And they was like, yeah, this water comes from the mountains. It's cost me, all this money. I said, let me test it. We tested the water, and then I put the crystal geyser right next to it. And it's crystal geyser was better. It's $1. It's amazing to me. I chuckle because it's just the awesome power of God. How
Yes,
God
yes.
puts things right in your midst, your breakthrough, your challenge that you may be going through. Usually is right around your answer is right around your
Always
corner.
is. Always is.
Probably, right next door to you. The person you speak to every day, you're, not sleeping at night, but God will put the solution to the problem right in front of you. So I just chuckle a little, but it just shows the awesome power of this whole thing. So just have the faith, continue to keep the faith, family. All right.
I have a question. Real
Okay.
quick.
Maxine. No, hold
my
on.
my store ran out of Crystal Geyser, so I got this Icelandic. I read it, and everything is the bottle at the source. So is this a good substitute?
Yep, that's one that's on my list. Yep,
Yes,
Icelandic.
very good.
It's from the
I'm sorry.
glaciers, right? That's from the Iceland glaciers, which is one of the other purifying sources on the planet. There's a lot of purifying sources on the planet. Did y'all know there's one that's actually north of what's happening with all the water? You know where the water's all bad and they got the children.
Flint, Michigan.
Flint, Michigan.
Up in Flint, Michigan. North of Flint, Michigan is one of the purest finds of water on the planet. It's a place called Lake Huron. It's one of Lake Michigan. One of the most purest waters on the planet. It's right there. But yet they'll pump it. They won't pump it. And they'll pump it through by putting these things called chloramines, which is chlorine and ammonia in the water. Pump it through and then give it to the people in the city.
Wow. That's deep.
Makes the water acidic. So when the water gets acidic, this water goes through and literally starts to pulling the sludge out of the actual piping system.
Wow.
GM had to stop them from using that water because it started to rust their parts. So we said, we can't use that water, but they kept pushing it through to the city. Wow. But Lake Huron, Lake Huron or Lake Huron.
It's called Lake Huron.
Is actually one of the purest finds on the planet. And here it is, right there.
I have a question, Dr.
The
Paul.
second question about the
Okay,
oil
Cheryl.
of oregano.
Okay, the oil of oregano is excellent. I recommend the one called oregano with an L at the end, and that's the one that's from. Let me see if I got it here. Here it is. It's from a North American herb and spice. That's this one right here.
Mm-hmm.
Got it? See it?
Oh.
This is one of the best forms of oregano you're going to get. Comes from Turkey, and the mountains of Turkey are where this thing grows. They can't figure out how it grows. It actually grows in rock. That's amazing. And it's in high elevation. Okay, high elevation. Somebody's high. It's in high elevation, and in the high elevation, remember we look at what's called doctrine of signatures, which means that wherever it grows, that's its strength. So when you take it, that's what is good for you. So high elevation plants like the oregano.
We'll find out who blocked this thing.
Also,
he said he was sorry. He said that.
Okay, so the oregano. So also things like mullein.
Really?
Mullein, all those.
He said he had been doing it.
Okay, come on, somebody shut down. Okay, mullein and things like nettle that grow in high elevations. Those are the ones that tend to have excellent forms for the lungs, for expectorants, pulling off mucus, things like that. So that just says, we call that God's signature. Isn't that awesome? So when you get the oregano, you would take it just as drops, just like this, if you can see it. Up, there it is. Got it? And there is regular and super strength. Okay, regular and super strength. These are very good for just going right under the tongue, or you can add it to your juice. This is actually one of the best things for fungus in the lungs. Okay, some people say, well, I got this sort of scraggly cough, and it's sort of like that little flutter that goes right in around the throat area, and you can't seem to get rid of it. And even if you breathe in and out, you can hear it sort of like wheezing, like kind of like that. That's actually maybe not bacterial. It's probably fungal. So that's what the oregano is good for also. It's very good for corona. They make this in a capsulization. They actually put a little bit of the inulin in here. In this particular formula, I believe inulin is in here. I read that it's actually inulin is actually what makes the lungs moist. Okay, it makes the lungs very moist. And that's why coronavirus only deals with dry and cool parts of your lungs, which is upper respiratory. Got it? Upper respiratory. That's why when you want to fight off coronavirus, you have something that is keeping heat and moisture. That's what keeps them from getting able to multiply, for it to actually infect the lungs. You got it? That's where pneumonia and all those things coming from. That's when mucus is rising. You ever hear that flutter in someone's throat? That's actually mucus rising. You know, back in the old day when they used to say, they didn't know much about what was going on. So whenever you're in the hospital or something, they say, "Did you hear it, Bill? Did you hear it? Did you go visit her? Did you hear it?" They say, "What do you mean, did you hear it? Did you hear it?" They call it the death rattle. You ever heard of that? The death rattle? They said, "Did you hear it?" "Yeah, I heard it." "Yeah, she ain't got much longer now." That's how people determine if you was going to live or not. They would do that, but they didn't know. They didn't know that it was just mucus rising. You got it? That means when your mucus rise like that, it also parasites draw to mucus. You got it? That's why when, pneumonia is a parasite. It's a parasite that goes in and starts to eat that stuff away. And that's why if you have intense level or variations of pneumonia, it could lead to lung collapse, which is called the pneumothorax, where the lung collapses, loses air and collapses. So it can lead to a lot of complications. All right. All right. Let me go down the line because I got more folks here. Bill, how we doing on time? It's about time to wrap it up. Bill, you on? Bill, I can't hear you.
I'm mute, Bill. I'm mute.
Bill.
Sorry about that. 8:33. Here we go.
All right, I'm going to take a couple more, just a couple more, and then we're going to.
I had my hand raised the whole program.
All right, I got you, Laura. I got you. Laura?
Yes.
Go ahead. You got it.
I bought the colon cleanser and the parasite cleanser, but I'm not sure of how to use it. Do I take it all?
Okay, one system at a time. Right. So you follow through with the colon cleanse, and then you follow with as we complete the whole bottle of the colon cleanse. Then you move to the second step. That's correct. So there, you can't go wrong, even if you go by the bottle. That's the layman's term of how you would use it. But I recommend just take 2 capsules after dinner. That's all you do. 2 capsules after dinner, all the way to the end of the bottle. And then once you do that, you move to the parasite formula. Then from there, same thing, same protocol, 2 capsules after dinner. So you're getting used to something that you may not have had in the system before. So it's getting your body used to it. So you can't go wrong. It has all of the digestible things that help the body prepare to break down the food and things that you had during dinner. Got it? So in the colon cleanse, just to give you an example, there's things called Cape aloes. Cape aloes comes from South Africa. I specifically get it from South Africa because it actually is used to bind to. It's part of the bitters, so it binds to things. Then I have a little Cascara sagrada. Okay, barberry bark, garlic, fennel, black walnut, peppermint leaf, which is actually Sue's, and then there's a little bit of African bird pepper. Anybody know what African bird pepper is?
No clue. Talk to us, Dr. Walt.
African bird pepper heats it up, so it keeps that stuff nice and moist, keeps it moving. Got it? Keeps the intestines moving. You know, cool. That's where the bacteria and virus and all that stuff grows. Remember, I just mentioned keeping it warm, right, up in the lungs. But African bird pepper heats up, starts to burn up a lot of the toxicity in the body. You got it? So no better place than the gut. All right?
Okay. Do you have time to give me the formula for hair growth?
That's going to be a long process because we have I think one of your sisters probably can break that down real quick because we're running out of time right now.
Is that on the website?
No, that one is not. I gave that one out a few times, and that's based off of how you, because I have to show you, not only give you the formula, we're going to show you how to apply it. Okay, so one of the sisters, I don't know if you want to grab one of the sisters' number, and who has that formula? Anybody have that formula they can share with her, or the breakdown of how that goes? Not on the call tonight. Prophetess, you got that? You don't have that formula? Oh, nobody has a formula.
I never even heard that formula, and I need it.
I have it, Dr. Paul.
Ask Sister Flo over there. She got the breakdown because that's a whole. I spent almost a whole 30 minutes on breaking that down one day because people have a lot of hair growth issues. I want to tell you though, you know, when you have issues with hair, you know, we talk about the MSM. But also remember, circulation has a lot to do with that too. So copper, the mineral copper, is usually missing with that. When you see hair turn white, it's usually because of lack of copper in the system. Because copper is used as a circulatory. It helps to speed up. That's why when people use for electronics, you use what? Copper wires. Speaker wires, copper. You know, when you're using for anything circulatory, usually using some kind of form of copper. You got it? So I would say Flo, can you share that with the sister? Your contact information with Laura?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Flo, can I get you to also send me a copy? I just put my email address in so that it's in individual
Okay.
request the documents from tonight. I can also put that in too.
Okay, I
Yeah.
got one last caller,
Okay,
and
I have a question, Dr. Paul.
yes.
My hand's been up for an hour.
Okay.
You know, we ain't been on here that long. Go ahead, Flo.
When I'm walking sometime, I feel like I'm walking lopsided or side to side, and I don't know where it's coming from.
A little discombobulation. What you say? Imbalance issues.
Yeah, I would say imbalance issues. I'd be like,
Okay.
Jesus, that didn't fall.
Okay. Balance issues can be a couple of things. No neck problems, right? No neck
Yeah,
issues.
I do have neck problems.
Okay, that can be also contraction. You got to make sure your spine is correct. You know, pinching in the nerves in the spine. You remember we did the whole piece about when y'all sit to the side. Remember
Yeah.
the ear should be in line with the ear. The shoulder should be in line with the ear. Got it? So tuck your chin. You got to tuck the chin. But also, if you stand against a wall, feet away from the wall, and press your back to a wall and just tuck the chin. That's an exercise that you can use to straighten the spine. That usually corrects a lot of problems. Usually, contraction issues can cause dizziness. Okay? It can cause dizziness. So if you still have it,
Mute.
after you've done these things and you still have it and you know that you're structurally sound, then it's what you're eating. You got it? So you gotta sort of do like a little you gotta do a sort of like a little almost like a mystery thing. You gotta sort of see what you're doing and what you're not doing. And I would start there first. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, family. Bill,
Yes, sir,
1L
man.
Morgan, we gotta
Yes, sir.
go, y'all.
Yeah,
This has
man.
been great. I think that
Just snuck
did
away
y'all
on us
get
now.
anything out of this tonight, y'all?
Yes, thank you.
All right. All right. All right.
Yes.
Did
That's
you
what's
get
up. That's
anything
what's up.
tonight?
Yes.
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 Thank you.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I think that you can have this. We want to have this forum so that you can ask those questions, and find out, what's going on. Have the ability to place these questions so that other people can learn. Some of the greatest places you can learn is right in forums like this because you learn from just sitting in and just listening. Sometimes I may have said something today that you heard through somebody else, but you couldn't hear it through them. So you got to hear it from me or someone
There
else.
you go. There you go.
Got it? That's the way it works.
That's right.
Sometimes,
That's right.
we have relatives that are telling us stuff and we're not listening because they're too, what we call that? We call that too close to the tree.
Yeah. Well,
That's
I
what
know
we
that's
call
right.
it. We call
Yes,
it
yes, yes.
close to the tree. So somebody like your brother or sister, you be like, oh, shut up. You don't know
I
nothing.
don't want to hear that.
You know what my grandma used to call me? Because, when I was little, Big B, when I was little, I must have been a little doctored in because I was trying to tell my grandma of everything. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to do that. She said, Little Paul, she says, would you leave me alone, Dr. Buzzard?
Oh, boy, I'm
She
telling
called
you.
me Dr. Buzzard. She says, well, Dr. Buzzard, because y'all remember Dr. Buzzard. You got to really be old if you know about Dr. Buzzard.
Well, I
She
ain't
said,
talking.
you remind me of Dr. Buzzard. You always got something. I was always had something because I'm always thinking. Even when I was little.
That's
You
right.
need to
That's
be
what
leaving
it's
that
all about.
alone. Stop using that Crisco.
Well, what can I tell you?
Bill got that wow.
Well,
Hallelujah.
so the word to the wise
Yes,
is
yes,
that
yes.
if somebody's telling you something, listen. You got it? No
Please
matter
do
where
that.
it's coming
Yes,
from.
yes, yes, yes.
Whenever you have something, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth to do double the listening and half the
Add
talking.
to talking. I know
You
that's
got
right.
it?
Right.
So keep your ears open at all time. Also
Mouth
realize
closed.
what's going on with this coronavirus.
Yes, keep your ears up. Keep your ears up.
Listen to what they're saying, but also
Yes.
listen to what they're not saying.
Yes,
Okay?
yes,
These are things that, people are running out. And, there is an expression of the blind leading the blind also. And what does the Bible say? Proverbs said what? They both gonna
Both
fall
fell
in
in
the.
the ditch.
You got it.
That's right.
So keep in mind, ask questions. If you can't ask questions, or you can't, have an opinion about something, and they can't verifiably answer that question, you have a right to say, "I don't know
I don't
about
know
that,"
about that. There
and
you go.
not to feel like that you're wrong. You're
Yes,
correct. You
indeed,
got it. You're
indeed.
correct. You have to feel in your spirit. You have to judge your spirit right now. You got to know where you siding right now, and who
I
you
know that's right.
serve. Most
That's right.
importantly,
As
got
always.
me. So when you're looking at what's going on in the news, don't let it be fear mongering. Don't
There
let it
you
come
are.
against you, but keep that in mind. Okay.
Your fault
Now,
is not the
family.
progenitor
Before
of
we,
fear.
that's right. That's right. Now, family, I want to before we end. I want to let you know about, I guess, maybe about a month ago, uh, we were informed that Bill had a passing of his daughter. And, Bill, we still send out our condolences to you and the family. And we officially have the information for those who are interested in sending your cards and
Yeah.
responses to Bill. Bill,
I just put it in the chat, Dr. Paul.
good, good. So if you are interested in, Bill, we always say there's much love here for you, and we love for everything that you do. It wouldn't be possible for us to get this information that I'm doing without your support. So we love you, brother,
Yes,
and
sir.
continue to do what you're doing. And if there's anything that we can do, family, just let's sow into Bill tonight. Let's be a blessing to him. This is all going to go to him tonight. For those that are, if you have a Cash App or something, or if you want to send something in, it's up to y'all. You don't have to do it. I receive nothing from this. Everything goes to the proceeds for the development of this program to keep it going, because I think it's important. What do y'all think? Y'all think this is important?
Yes,
Well, I think we got to keep this thing going. You got to let it grow, because now when you're informed, you can keep and ask those questions that you need to ask at the right time. You got it?
Yes.
It's very important that you answer the right questions. You got it? We have an expression. It's called hold their feet to the fire. What does that mean? That means that if you're going to say something, you got to prove it to me. You got it? You got to prove it to me that I need to take this thing that could possibly be poison in my body. You got it?
Yes, that's right.
You got to prove it to me. And if you can't verifiably prove it, then we got a problem. You got it? Then I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait till I hear better. But don't be too anxious to move. And I think that's what you're seeing on TV. People are too anxious, So, Bill, I thank you, my brother. And make sure you pull your. I had to mute everybody again. We're getting too much more. Just unmute yourself, Big. Can you unmute
Yes,
yourself?
I
There
got
you
you.
go.
Yes, surely. No
Yes.
problem, my friend.
And
listen, Dr. Paul, I'm not going anywhere. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, I'll be right here. You know what? Family is more important than breathing, because if I can't stand in the gap between the porch and the altar, then I'm not doing the job that God put me here for. So that's all I got to say. Just family, just stick close. Send some prayers up for me. I'm going out on the 7th of February to go out and kind of close things out for my daughter. And then I'll be back in and be ready to get back to work again. So just continue to pray, and guess what? It's going to get better. And let me just close things up and let you know that, as you do this kind of thing, this is for family, guys. Keep bringing the folks in. We are indeed a family. And we, guess what? We got to spread this thing. So invite your friends, as you do your donations tonight and any other time, just make sure that it's sewed in so that we can sow it right back into spreading the gospel. That's what it's all about.
All right, Big B
Yes, sir,
in the
buddy.
house. All right, thank you, family. Let's give him a hand, family. Let's give him a hand.
Yes. It's a
And
good
I
thing,
want to
good
thank you so much for tuning in. And as we say, you can always contact me directly at 1-877-377-2854. That's again 1-877-377-2854. Also, go to the website. If you have someone that needs to get on this Zoom call, give them the website, www.drpaulherbs.com. Have them put their name and their email in, and they will get a notice from now forward to about the family tree every week. sort of like a notice goes out, private invitation. All right. We are still doing the RM3A. I want to say something to those that say, well, you know, Doc, I can't get to you. Don't believe the hype, y'all.
That's right.
Tell you, if you set up an appointment, I tell everyone to, when you set up an appointment, to ask to be put on the cancellation list. Now, this is not a normal cancellation list. This is a first call cancellation list. That means that when someone is not available or someone cancels, guess what? We go down this list. I have two of the greatest women that are putting things in order for me, Miss Ivy and Milani. They are really keeping things straight. The first person they call, if they're unavailable, they go to the next one. I had someone that was booked for March just the other day because when they went down the list, either someone wasn't home, left it on the voicemail, they didn't call back, you know, whatever the reason, went all the way to someone in March and they came in. So it's not based on, you know, one person canceling and we waiting for that one person. It's the first call. You got it? So if you have an appointment, you want to get checked out, get yourself on that list. We'll get to you. Got it? All right, family. God bless y'all. It's been a pleasure.
I know that's
Thank
right.
you. Thank you.
All right.
Wait, before you hang up, Dr. Paul, I just want to tell Flo to make sure she saves the chat box because people were putting their emails and things in the chat box, not directly to her, but to everyone. This way she can see anyone's email address.
Also,
Yes,
and you know what,
absolutely.
Promise? Also remember, guys, that I also put the chat together and so that I can send it out after Dr. Paul sends me the link each week. So you know, my email address is at mechavideo@gmail.com. That way you can make sure that when you send that request in, I get it right back to you as soon as I put the piece up on Facebook. All right. So keep
All right. That sounds good to me, family. How's that sound? I want to thanks to everyone for chiming in. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
All right, I want to blame.
Thank you, Dr. Paul.
All right, we love you now. Love y'all. Love y'all.
Blessings.
Good night, Mr. Bill.
Good night. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Bill.
Good night.
Next
God bless
Wednesday.
you.
Yes, indeed. Got Willing Creek don't ride. We'll be right there.
All right. Big B.
Yes, sir, buddy.
Thank you, man.
Always, bud.
Another great one.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, brother.
Always, my
Appreciate you always, man. And you have a good one. And I'll see you on the weekend. All right?
GB.
All right. Take care, family. Can you see me, B?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
All right. All right. Love y'all. Take care. Be blessed.
Good night.
Be encouraged.
Yes.
And if you're breathing,
you
you got a shot.
God bless everybody.
With the samba.
Yes. Bring it on. Yes.
Feel like I'm in Brazil having a party. All right, B.
Look out, buddy.
All right.
All right, man.
Okay, take care.
God
God bless y'all.